All right, strap in, everybody. Today, we are going deep, deep, deep into Ecos Urbanos.
Dominican urban art, right.
You got it, an animated film, exploding with energy. We've got the film treatment. Think of it like the movie's DNA. It lays out the story, the characters, themes, everything. And man, does it get intense.
Intense is right. Ecos Urbanos takes this universal story, chasing artistic dreams, but it's infused with this very specific cultural flavor. It's a window into Dominican culture, not just a movie about art.
So picture this. New York City. We meet Bones, 16 years old, Dominican-American. Lives and breathes hip-hop, art, the whole thing. School, not so much.
Classic, right? Tons of talent, but maybe not using it the right way, at least according to mom and dad.
Big time. And that causes some friction, right? Classic teenager, classic immigrant family dynamics.
Big time. Bones is forging his path. Parents are terrified, want him to play it safe. Passion versus responsibility amplified by a whole cultural layer.
And that's where things take a turn. His parents, worried sick, they send him to live with his grandparents in the Dominican Republic.
Whoa, big change. From the concrete jungle to, well, a whole different world.
Can you imagine? I mean, talk about a culture shock.
It's total fish out of water at first. Bones feels so out of place. But here's the twist. While he's struggling to connect with his family, this new environment, he finds this vibrant underground art scene, and it just grabs him.
But he finds his people, right? Not through family, but through this shared passion.
Exactly. It's a major theme. The power of art to create community, to transcend cultural barriers. Like, where do we belong? Art can help answer that.
And he falls in with this crew of artists, Luna, Dante, Sophia, Carlos, Maria, each one with their own unique style. They form this collective, pushing the boundaries of Dominican urban art.
And the film, it really shows the diversity of that art. Graffiti, beatboxing, dance, rap, music production. It's this whole ecosystem of creativity, a fusion of influences. Tradition meets innovation. It's not just one thing.
They're not just making art, though. They're challenging the status quo. And that ruffles some feathers, especially with the authorities. We get introduced to Captain Ramirez, this imposing figure. He's the resistance, like the embodiment of resistance to change.
Oh yeah, Ramirez, he's a whole symbol. Conservative, terrified of disruption, sees art as a threat to order. Like, who gets to decide what's acceptable art, right? Who gets silenced? It makes you think.
It's that constant tension, isn't it? Breaking boundaries versus enforcing them. But then, just when you think it's Bones and his crew against the establishment, a rival crew shows up from New York. Los Titanes.
Here we go. And their leader, none other than Bones' old nemesis, Rico El Furioso Martinez.
It gets personal.
Big time. Now, it's not just art versus authority. It's about power struggles within the art world. How do rivalries shape art movements? What happens when ambition clashes with ideals?
It's a pressure cooker. Bones is in the middle of all these forces, his family, the authorities, this rival crew.
And Rico, he's not just a bad guy. He's complex, driven by this need for recognition, for success, even if it means doing some shady stuff.
And he makes this deal with his cousin Niki. Not the best dude, let's just say that. And Niki unleashes this campaign of intimidation, violence. It starts to suffocate the whole art scene in Santo Domingo.
Things get dark. We see how fragile artistic freedom is, how dangerous it can be to challenge the status quo. What's the price of ambition? When does power become more important than your principles? Big questions.
And then, well, it all leads to this tragic turning point. Bones gets caught in the crossfire and...
Man, we left off with Bones in a bad spot.
Right in the middle of it all.
And this is where Ecos Urbanos gets real, about consequences. That cycle of violence.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
So it all goes down to this competition. Viva El Rap 89, big showdown, and Bones. Well, he doesn't make it. Caught in the crossfire.
This is brutal. Changes everything, right? For everyone, but especially Rico.
It's like the film is saying, look, this is what happens. Choices have impact. Violence, it just keeps spiraling.
So what happens to Rico?
Guilt eats at him. Sees the destruction, his part in it, breaks with his cousin, tries to find another way.
Goes back to the Dominican Republic.
It does. But this time, he's not running away. It's more like searching...
For what?
Redemption, I guess. A way to honor Bones. Maybe even find himself again, the part he lost.
And that's where his uncle comes in, right? Nestor.
More than family, he's a mentor. A guide to real Dominican hip-hop.
Nestor's story is amazing. All that history, how hip-hop came to the island, the pioneers, the struggles.
It's like a crash course in musical history, right?
Yeah.
How art moves, adapts. But then there's Nestor's own story. Man, so sad. He was in love with this dancer, Rosa. Defied all these social norms.
Sounds like a movie in itself.
It is, almost. But it ends tragically. Rosa's brother interfered. Jonas Ramirez, who we know as Colonel Ramirez.
Oh, wait, so that's why they clash. It's personal.
Years of resentment, man. Ramirez blamed Nestor for Rosa's death. That's what fuels his prejudice. It's not just about art. It goes way deeper.
Wow. So Rico, with Nestor, he starts to
Connect with his roots, yeah. Embrace Dominican culture like never before. He starts teaching, passing on the knowledge, the passion.
that mentorship, it's like a torch being passed, right? From Nestor to Rico, now onto this new generation.
Exactly. And we meet him. Rosanna, Wendy, Fausto, Chapman. Each one bringing something unique. It's like Bones in New York, finding his crew. Now Rico doing the same in DR. That need to connect across borders, generations, everything.
Yeah, there's pushback, right?
Oh, yeah. Colonel Ramirez
Yeah.
sees Rico, his students, as a threat. That whole mindset, got to control everything, resist change. Tradition versus innovation, freedom of expression. It's a battle.
And Ramirez, he doesn't just talk, he acts, shuts down their party, has them arrested.
But even in jail, the music doesn't stop.
Yeah.
They have these rap battles. It's amazing. Like, you can't lock up creativity. It finds a way.
Defiance, pure defiance.
And that leads to Rico's decision. He takes on the name Bones officially,
Yeah.
honoring his rival, dedicating himself to that legacy of peace, unity through music. Powerful stuff.
Redemption. Taking all that pain, turning it into something good. It's beautiful almost.
It is. And by becoming Bones, it's not erasing who he was, but like owning it. You know, it all shaped by our experiences, the good and the bad. Growth comes from acknowledging that, trying to do better.
So we've got Bones leading this new crew, fighting for justice for their community, making a difference. But it's not easy, is it?
Ramirez is always there, that constant obstacle, trying to hold him back. And then Bones gets hit with this personal crisis. His uncle Ernesto gets really sick.
I remember this part, yeah.
Desperation, you know. Bones makes a choice. He goes back to crime to try and save his uncle. Risking everything he's built, it breaks your heart.
Those ethical dilemmas, so tough, especially for artists, people struggling to survive.
Exactly. The path to doing the right thing, it's not always clear. And tragically, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Ernesto dies, and Bones is left with nothing but grief and, well, deeper in the criminal world than ever.
It's like one blow after another.
And then Ramirez gets his win. Bones is caught, imprisoned, silenced, or so Ramirez thinks. It's a hollow victory, though, right? Achieved through force, not compassion. But even when the good guys don't win, the story's not over.
Because Bones keeps creating.
Inside those walls, the music becomes his lifeline. Processing his experiences, finding some hope in the darkness. It's the power of art, man. Even when everything's been taken away, it can give you freedom.
And then there's a chance, right? This
Yeah.
competition, the Apollo of the Barrios.
Big deal. Sponsored by national brands, chance for recognition, record deals. It's a sign things are changing. Dominican hip-hop, it's going mainstream.
Wesson, too, they're going to make Bones proud.
They go all in. Fierce competition. There's this group, Al Capone down, led by this guy Keto, real talent. But then surprise, surprise,
Ramirez tries to shut it down.
always got to be in control, right? Sees the competition as a threat. But this time, people fight back. The artists, the community, they say, no more, demand the show go on. It's powerful, that collective action.
They overpower him.
The competition goes on, but yeah, they stand up to him. But it's not smooth sailing. Chapman from Wesson 2, he gets injured right before the performance. Life, right. Throws curveballs when you least expect them. But they still perform, and they're amazing. This fusion of hip-hop and Dominican sounds is something special.
So do they win?
They don't. Al Capone down takes the prize.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. Both groups get record deals. On one condition, they got to fuse their style with meringue.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Smart move by the labels, right? They see the global potential. Latin music is huge. And this blend, it's fresh, exciting. The past and present come together.
And it works.
Big time. International success, spreading Dominican music worldwide. And they always pay tribute to Bones. He's their inspiration. His legacy lives on in their music, in everyone he touched.
What about Bones? What happens to him?
He does his time, keeps writing, performing. Music's his therapy, his way to grow. When he gets out, he comes back to his community. Not as a criminal, but as an artist, a mentor. Ready to give back.
It's a full circle moment, isn't it?
It is. Redemption, resilience, connection. Ecos Urbanos takes you on this journey, man. Family, identity, social justice that fight for creative expression. It stays with you.
It really does.
Makes you think about your own prejudices, how art can change things, the importance of community, lifting each other up. And as we wrap up, it's like, there's hope. Art can build bridges, make the world a better place. Ecos Urbanos, it's a story that asks, what difference are you going to make?
That's the question, isn't it? And to our listeners, keep exploring Dominican urban art. There's so much to discover. Until next time, keep diving deep.
So we left off with Bones, behind bars.
Yeah, tough situation, but his story isn't over.
Not at all. And his students, they're not giving up either.
Weston, too, right. They're determined to make him proud.
Exactly. It's like, he may be physically gone, but his spirit, his passion, it's still driving them.
They're performing, competing, making a name for themselves. And it's more than just fame, isn't it? They're carrying on his message.
Oh, yeah. Social justice, artistic freedom, all of it. It's living proof that his influence, it can't be silenced.
Yeah.
Even by prison walls.
And they get big, right? Like nationally known.
Nationally. It's a win for the whole movement, Dominican urban art. Everything Colonel Ramirez tried to squash, it's blossoming. Change is happening. The voices he tried to silence, they're being heard loud and clear.
Talk about poetic justice. While all this is going on, Bones, he's
Finding his own freedom, yeah. Inside, he turns to his music. It's his lifeline. A way to cope, to grow, to find some light in a dark place.
the power of art, man. It can do that.
Absolutely. It's about transformation. Even in prison, it can give you purpose, connection. For Bones, it's almost like redemption, a way to reclaim his humanity.
Then there's this competition, the Apollo of the Barrios. Big
Yeah.
deal, right?
Huge. National sponsors, record deals on the line. It's a sign. Dominican hip-hop, it's arrived. Mainstream acceptance.
And Weston, too, they go for it.
Head first. They want to prove themselves, honor their mentor. Some serious competition, though. There's this group, Al Capone Down, led by this guy, Keto. Super talented.
But I bet I know what happens next.
Colonel Ramirez, right on cue, tries to sabotage the whole thing.
Always got to be in control.
It's like he can't stand to see these kids succeed. The art, the energy, it threatens him, I guess. But this time, people have had enough.
They fight back.
The artists, the community, they rally, demand the show go on, no more censorship. Ramirez can't stop them.
Powerful stuff. So the competition continues.
It does, but there are bumps in the road. Chapman from Weston 2, he gets hurt. Freak accident right before their big performance.
Life, huh? Always throws curveballs.
But they pull it together. Their performance, man, it's a fusion of hip-hop, Dominican rhythms, so unique, you got to hear it to believe it.
So do they win?
They don't. Al Capone Down takes the prize. But here's the kicker. Both groups get record deals. But there's a catch. They got to fuse their style with meringue.
Meringue.
The labels, they're smart. Latin music is booming, and this mix, it's gold. Tradition meets innovation.
And it works out.
Huge success. They hit the global stage. Dominican music goes worldwide.
Yeah.
And they always remember Bones, their inspiration. His legacy lives on through their music, through all the lives he touched.
Amazing. What about Bones, though? Does he ever get out?
He serves his time, keeps writing, performing, uses music to heal, to reflect. When he's finally free, he goes back to his community. Not as a criminal, but as an artist, a mentor, ready to give back.
Full circle, man. Ecos Urbanos, what a story. New York to Santo Domingo, the evolution of this art form, the struggle, the triumphs. It really makes you think.
It does. About identity, justice, the power of art to break down walls. And as we wrap up, I'm left with this feeling of hope. Like, we can all make a difference, you know? Use our creativity to build something better.
Powerful stuff. And to our listeners, don't stop exploring. Dominican urban art, it's a world of its own. And until next time, keep diving deep.